Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. I'm Reed Price. I'm the director of the Senior Community Center. We're happy to have you here. And we're happy to be talking with Stacey Smith, who directs the Kitsap Aging and Long-Term Care. And we will talk a little bit about what that agency, the many, many things that agency does. But first, I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the ancestral homeland of the Puget Sound Salish people, specifically the Suquamish, the people of the clear salt water, who have lived on these lands and waters since time immemorial. We honor them and we are learning from their stewardship. We hope to be better partners in taking care of the earth and letting the earth take care of us. Also, I'd like to thank Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, which is a sponsor of Something to Talk About. They have assisted in independent living and memory care up on Rolling Bay. You can also find out about day stay and respite care programs. Call them, and Jamie or Randy would be happy to give you a tour and treat you to lunch or dinner. The number is 206-594-1010. You can also check out their website at fieldstonecommunities.com. So, Stacey, thank you very much for offering to meet with us today. Very grateful for you sharing some time with us and telling us a little bit about the agency with a really long name, Kitsap County Aging and Long-Term Care, which is part of the AAA, which stands for, I'm going to fail this test. Yeah.
That's okay. It's the Area Agency on Aging, the other AAA is what I like to say.
Yeah, which, as you were telling me, there are how many, 600 plus around the country?
Yes. So I was going to give you, so can I just share with you what I'm hoping to share today? Would that work?
That'd be
Okay.
great.
So I was thinking it might be helpful to start off with just a little bit of a history lesson on how the area agencies on aging got formulated and formalized across our country, how many there are, what's our role, and then talk a little bit about Kitsap as the area agency on aging and the agency where I'm the director. Then I was hoping to just give a real brief overview of the kinds of services, the array of partnerships we have across Kitsap County supporting individuals to remain at home safe. That is our mission. And then talk about some new services coming, like next month, new services coming to our community, and then what the long-term strategy is for new services. So that's a lot in a little bit of time. So if you're okay, I'd like to go ahead and get started.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so welcome for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to highlight the work that we do here in Kitsap County. My name is Stacey Smith. I'm the director of Kitsap County Aging and Long-Term Care. Have the privilege of being the director here over the last 10 years. Have been with Kitsap County Human Services Department over 25 years. And as I like to share with my community, I've spent my first 55 years here in Kitsap County, and I plan on spending my next. So I have a personal agenda ensuring that this is a great place to live, regardless of your age. So the history of the area agencies on aging. If I could share my slide, I think that's the easiest way to go, or my screen. Yeah. So this is a presentation I gave to the Board of County Commissioners last month. And so this is just a picture of our country. This is the area agencies, regardless of where you live. Our nation in the late 60s said we need an organization locally ran that really does support the interests of older adults living independently as possible in their communities. Therefore, the concept of area agencies on aging came to be. We refer to them as the AAA. Regardless of where you live in the country, there's an area agency on aging there to support older adults. So right now, today, there are over 622 area agencies on aging. And our sole mission is to support older adults to live safe at home. We coordinate information, we bring you new resources. We're your place to go. The good news in Washington state, we're actually ranked number 2 in the nation for being the most progressive in the kinds of services and supports that we provide older adults in our country. And that's an independent ranking through AARP. And we have gotten that second place ranking, the last couple iterations of the evaluation. We are only beat out by Minnesota. So
Okay.
wanted to share with you what it looks like in Washington State. So in Washington State, there are 13 area agencies on aging. They are all around counties. They're based on counties. Some are independent and some are regions of counties. So in the early 70s, when Washington State was formulating its area agencies on aging, Kitsap was part of Pierce. So we were a Pierce and Kitsap Area Agency on Aging. And that organization served both counties equally. So you can see there's some other counties. There's King County, there's Snohomish County. The rest of these are regions. They're counties that have come together. They serve their communities with the breadth of services. Regardless of where you live in Washington State, you can get a service. Like go to your area agency on aging and they will get you the service I'm going to be talking about. Our number one most popular service is information, right? We are the place to go to learn about anything you want to know about in our community or other surrounding communities if you have a complex or a scenario or a simple question. We give out free information. We have a team waiting for you to call and outreach to us Monday through Friday. So in 1982 is when Kitsap County said, you know, our needs of our older adults are a little bit different than Pierce County. We'd like to be our own area agency on aging. And so in 1982 was actually when we were established as the area agency on aging. Hence, we're the last one that was formulated on this map. And we are also one of the smallest AAAs. We are right next door to the largest area agency on aging, which is King County. And what's really interesting is while we're the largest and the biggest, we're partners, we share boundaries, we have very similar issues, although it's not for the same reasons. So I'll just leave that there as a little nugget.
Yeah, we'll have to tell me more about that later. But
Okay.
your point is that there's King County, obviously the largest population, and then there's a picture there that shows what 5 counties: Okanagan, Chelan, Douglas, Lincoln, Grant, and Adams. I guess that's 6, all sharing a single AAA.
Yes, they are operated under one area agency on aging, and they call themselves Central Washington Area Agency on Aging. Yes. Okay, so let me talk to you a little bit about Kitsap. So we've been serving our community, if you do the math, over 40 years, right? 42 years. And our mission is a social service agency. So we are all around social determinants of health. And our mission is to work independently and through our community partnerships to promote the well-being and independence of older adults, people with disabilities, and their caregivers. That's our mission. So we everything we do, that is our core. We are funded through federal dollars through the Older Americans Act. I always share with our older adults, when you are a working person, you are contributing to the services that are here to support you today. So we receive Older Americans Act federal funding and other funding sources I'll share with you. And we are governed and regulated under the Older Americans Act regulations, which are federal laws. We have about 43 staff in Kitsap County Area Agency on Aging, and we have a budget right around 7.5 million. So I did want to jump to this next slide, which is the overview of our services. So what do we do with that 7.5 million? And this is a compilation of services we provide directly out of our office, as well as through subcontracts with our community partners. So as I've highlighted over here, we are 100% grant funded. We receive no county general fund support. It's 100% grant funding through our Medicaid federal dollars, through Older Americans Act federal dollars, through our department, Washington State Legislature. They allocate money through the Department of Social and Health Services directly to the area agencies on aging. And then we receive a small amount of money from our multi-service center that operates our long-term care ombuds program. So that's our blended funding sources. And these are the kinds of services that we are here that you can rely on. We have information and assistance. We get close to between 600 and 700 calls every 3 months to our office, just asking for information. So and really it's just general information. People never come with just one thing, right? You start talking, they call about one thing, but then they start talking and we realize we have lots of other things to offer them. So we give them unbiased information around where they can go to solve the problems, or we can even do a warm handover where we might start a process for them or connect them to an agency directly on that call.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people have a problem or a challenge or an issue, but they don't know, like, what do I do with this? So calling you guys can help. Oh, there's this
Yes.
group that you should talk to, or actually, now that you're telling me more about this, it might be this other group. So you can
Yes.
sort out the complicated service providers for people who call.
Yes. And who pays for what? And how do I get a list of all of those apartments? Or where, like, we keep all of that information. We are your local experts for aging in Kitsap County. The next biggest program that we offer is our senior nutrition program. This is a tenet, if you will, of the Older Americans Act. We know that food is medicine. We know that. And so nutrition and making sure that there's food security in our communities for older adults who are on fixed incomes is a big part of the work we do. So we work very closely with Meals on Wheels Kitsap. They do a majority of our home delivered meals for older adults, as well as they coordinate our community dining sites, like right there at the senior center. That's funding that comes through our office through the Older Americans Act. We also have our senior farmers market program. And what's new and exciting is our state legislature. I just realizing the leadership in Washington state legislature around food insecurity for older adults, people on fixed incomes, right? We know that 50% of people that get SNAP benefits, that it's the nutrition assistance program, supplemental nutrition assistance program. 50% of the people that receive that benefit is in a household with an older adult, right? That's just the reality of today. So we are receiving some new dollars that we're going to equally divide to get out to our local Kitsap Food Bank Coalition members, as well as our two tribal programs, or elders, and Meals on Wheels Kitsap. So we're super excited to continue to provide that support for our community most at need in our community, right? The next program here is our caregiver support program. This is for family members that provide support to an older person so that that person can stay safe at home. A lot of times that's referred to as the sandwich generation, that person that's kind of bringing up kids at the same time they're supporting their maybe older adult family member. We provide free legal assistance through a subcontract with Northwest Justice. We have a kinship program. This is just for, like, you think of grandparents raising grandkids, or an auntie. It's that, like, once removed generation raising that younger under 18 person. We have two programs we subcontract out to Kitsap Community Resources. We have a care transitions program where we work with our local hospitals for people who are older, who are being discharged from the hospital and they're going home and they want a little bit of support to stay safe at home to avoid that next hospitalization. It's a free resource. We get this funding. So if you're one of those people or you know of somebody, this is a service that's specific to Washington state, regardless of where you live. So I really encourage people to learn more about that if that's an interest of yours.
Yeah, that sounds like a real challenge often, because if you're doing fine, then you have some sort of a health emergency, and you don't have other regular support,
Right.
then having that transition to recognize, okay, I'm going to be back from the hospital, but it's going to be some time before I'm ready to actually do all the activities of daily living that I was doing before.
Or even getting my groceries right that week, or I might experience a fall. And so how do I prevent from falling again? Like, it's all of those things that goes into kind of staying safe at home when you're discharged from a hospital stay. We have case management programs where we serve a majority of individuals who are lower income, have a need for personal assistance, and a case management. So 50% of our funding is for this these programs under case management. And our state's so progressive in using federal funds to support a lot of this work. So that's one of the reasons we score so high, is because, and these are services available for people over the age of 18. On any given day, on any given month, we're supporting about 1,200 people through our agency, Stay Safe at Home, that could be in a skilled nursing facility, but they want to be home. And so this is a service that allows them to do that safely. We focus on memory care here in Kitsap County. We provide free consultations for people or even family members that might be experiencing memory loss or wondering if it's normal aging versus something else. We do community presentations and e-newsletters. We have our long-term care ombuds program. Dana Gargis, who is a member of your community up there in the island, as is one of our, I always say she's the best ombuds in the state of Washington, and we're lucky enough that she's picked our community to do her work. And so supporting individuals who live in skilled nursing, assisted living, or adult family homes. We do a lot of work ensuring healthy aging initiatives, age-friendly workshops, and just helping our community partners that maybe are just now realizing that we're all growing older together. They need to take more universal design approach to everything, from public buildings to private residences. And so we do a lot of workshops. We do a newsletter with a different focus every month. And then we are wrapping up with some COVID dollars that we received in our community this year. But the really new work is through the WA Cares Fund. And I can talk a little bit about that at the end. That's more geared towards working people today, not necessarily older adults.
Yes, and we have material that is in this podcast series that I'll put a link in the bottom about WA Cares and where it fits.
Perfect.
And because if you are still working or you know somebody who's still working, there's a potential for some benefits for them. If you're already retired, then not so much. But it's a long-term care proposal, or not proposal, but plan that we are just getting started in this state.
Yeah, it actually launches this time next year. So last but not least is our revenue. So this is where I think it's really important for this group to know, our community to know, this is the pie. This is the picture of our revenue, 7.5 million. And where does that revenue come from? Most of this is under Title 19. This is those case management programs I referred to. Really, only 15% comes from our Older Americans Act, yet it's most of the work we do. And it's really the foundation of what created the Area Agency on Aging. I like to share this because I think we're aging and more. Like, we're a trusted community resource that does things really well in our community, and other entities are starting to pay attention. Hey, you do nutrition really well for older adults. Can you serve other ages, younger ages? Yeah, we can do that. Hey, you have a way of area agencies connecting up with maybe the builders in your community to understand universal design and build ramps. Would you be willing to do that for a younger, maybe a Medicaid population? Yeah, we can do that. So we are aging and more because we are those trusted partners here in Kitsap County. One thing we're starting new next month is this overview that I gave of all of our services. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. There's eligibility determinations for some of these programs and then not others. Some of it's just age. Some of it has an income. Some of it might be difficult to get if you live like in the nether regions of our community. And so starting next month, the fourth Thursday of every month, we will be doing a Zoom overview, Zoom meeting from 2 to 3 o'clock for whoever wants to join us to learn about these programs. We're just going to do this ongoing every month, the fourth Thursday from 2 to 3. And that information is going to be on our website. So the other thing I left out is we do use our website to share a lot of information, but it's buried under Kitsap County information. So we have a domain that makes it very easy to find us. You can, in your search engine, just put in kitsapaging.com or Kitsap Aging. It takes you straight to our webpage.
Yes, and it is even once you get there, it is some work because of the variety of things that you just described. but you can poke around there. And as you said at the beginning, you can always start with a call,
Yes.
and then you will have the information backed up online.
So we are an entity that uses our website, but we are also an entity. So our main office is in South Kitsap. We know that's not centrally located to serving our community in the best way. So we do have some office locations up at Fishline, as well as we will be opening up a cubicle in Silverdale at the Work Source Center. But most of the work, we go to our community. We go to where our older adults, where our caregivers already go. We use our local senior centers or tribal elder programs. We go to libraries. We will go to doctor's offices. We go into people's homes, right? We go to where people are, where they need us. And so I would say, don't think you need to come to us. Just give us a jingle and we'll figure out how to get to you. We don't want to make that a barrier to you understanding how we are a resource to our community.
And as I have said to you before, if there are activities or programs like we have hosted, Dana and Jason and others here, we're happy to be one of your stop points as you share
Yes.
information with us. Also, if you want to have some sort of an activity in our part of the county, feel free to reach out.
Yes, we do. Thank you. So what questions? I mean, I kind of covered a lot in a little bit of time, but I haven't stopped to take a breath. Are there questions?
Well, one of the questions that I have is, I'm wondering, given there's a lot of frustrating or challenging news right now about funding, and the federal government looking at this one big beautiful act and threats about some of the programs that you offer support for. So as the federal government makes decisions, will you be a good place for me to find out about how that might affect the programs I depend on?
Sure, absolutely. So we are part of a larger network because we're part of area agencies on aging. There's a national association called US Aging. US, like us, US Aging, right? We get advocacy alerts every day. And this morning I actually got one regarding HR1 or the big beautiful bill. You know, different people use different language for it. And it unfortunately just passed out of the Senate Finance Committee with even deeper cuts than it was presented from the House and what passed the House. And so it's very concerning because we really do connect up with our local agency advisory council. They are our advocates, and all the area agencies on aging across our nation are part of this network. Like we are all together saying the same thing around preserving and ensuring that America stays a safe place for older people to age because we're all aging together. We're living longer. We got to figure this out. And what we know about the current HR1, that big, beautiful bill, is they're looking at Medicaid reductions over a 10-year glide path, as well as those nutrition through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance or SNAP, right? The SNAP program, which is a tenet to what older adults on fixed incomes, right? Because it's costing more to live and we're living longer than anyone projected. And so older people are very much needing these other social supports. That's how you kind of make it through a month sometimes, right? You do what you can and then you use what you need to get through the month. And so these federal cuts are just devastating. I just like can't believe it's even on the chopping blocks because of how it will affect older adults. And we're really not seeing that. When we see the news feeds, if you will, regardless of which news feed you're looking at, I think they look at it through the lens of a working person or maybe the average age of an American, and they really aren't talking about the devastation it will be to our older adults, people just trying to live their lives in our community like they always have.
Yeah,
So,
and I do think that I mean, definitely in the way that it's being presented by the administration, that there's a whole lot of people who could be getting support in other ways. But what you see through the Kitsap AAA are people who definitely need the support you're giving, right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing, being one of the smaller AAAs, we know there's a greater need than the funding we receive. We know that. Like we see it, we hear it every day when our phone rings. There are needs that are not being met currently. And then when you look at making cuts or reducing a program that's supporting somebody, it's very concerning.
And of course, this is often covered as like the politics, a horse race. It's like who's ahead and who's behind and who's winning and who's not. But it's real lives that are being discussed here. And we're right now, I'm sure the alert is saying, okay, it looks like there's going to be something passed out of the Senate. Then, of course, there's going to be the House has to go along with that if they're going to try to get it done. So this is just a fast moving train.
Correct. What we're seeing from the advocates and the folks that are watching this is it's a self-imposed deadline of the 4th of July for the Senate to pass their version
Right.
of the HR1.
Which it clearly will not match the
The
House version.
House, right.
So it won't go into law. There won't be anything for the president to sign until they figure out how they're going to make those differences. But the importance of organizations like yours, and I'm sure like people who are watching this, reaching out and speaking to people about how important these services are to them. This is a good time to do that.
Correct. Contact your legislature. Yes. And I would say we have some amazing champions in our community, like at the state legislature, the 23rd legislative district. We have some champions of older adults that live in our community, represent us. We also have champions in Congress that understand what it means to be an older adult in Washington state and in our areas. So continue to outreach to them. They are amazing individuals. They are our trusted leaders, and they do understand. But we got to keep supporting them, right? Give them the data. We got to give them the data.
And the stories. In our case,
yes.
I mean, if you're watching or listening to this, what you can tell is how much you depend on these things, and let Emily Randall or Patty Murray or Maria Cantwell know. And that's very helpful to them when they're trying to talk with their colleagues across the aisle to get things done, I think. So what are the biggest challenges you have? You mentioned something about, the shape of our county and the location of our services. Is that you probably get you do a lot of support for people who don't live near your offices.
Correct, but our staff live all over our county. And so we allow our staff to work remotely from home, as well as a day or two in the office if they choose to. They can work more in the office if they want to. But they are your neighbors, our neighbors, and they live throughout the county. So that's one way that we try to meet that challenge of living on a peninsula. And I always say 2 islands, because there's Blake Island too. And yeah. So we just co-locate folks. We make sure that we are well serving our community, even though our main campus is over in South Kitsap, a couple blocks above the courthouse campus.
Well, that's good to know. And I think that that's wonderful. I have found that given modern technology, there's a lot that can be done without having to travel to the office, and being able to have your eyes and ears around the county is a wonderful thing. Well, those are the questions I had. I want to thank you for taking the time, and just remind people that if you search for, as you said, healthy
Kitsap Aging.
I did it, and it comes right up to the landing page in the kitsap.gov website. And I appreciate all the kinds of work you do. And as we talked about before we started, a lot of it we see through the work of other nonprofits or agencies. But you're behind there helping us keep that going. So thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for what you do. It's been a privilege to spend this afternoon with you.
Likewise. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.